All right, 2-star diamonds. Super excited for this call today because, of course, it is brought to you by an amazing coach. And so Kathleen is actually going to speak on finding your brand. She has been a coach for quite some time. I'm just going to read a couple things about her because I think it's amazing. She lives in Astoria, Oregon. I hope I said that city right. Mm-hmm. Married with 2 kids, 24 and 17. She actually enjoys volunteering at her kids' band or with her kids' band program when she's not, of course, doing Beachbody. But along with that, she actually quit her job back in 2012 as a newspaper editor and was able to use her income from Beachbody to quit, which is super cool. She's been SC5 legend for 47 months, so just a couple months, which is amazing. So she has really found a way to find her brand. And so she's going to go ahead and share with us. So why don't you tell us a little bit about you and go ahead and get started.
Cool. I've been looking forward to this because I love being in this group. I'm so glad, Brittany, that you put this together because I'm here every week. I love hearing from everybody because we've all got something we can share with each other. So it's been really exciting for me. So yeah, just a little bit about me. I started my journey as a coach just as a customer, like I know a lot of you guys did. It was actually my husband was the one who wanted to get in shape first. He had about 80 pounds to lose. And I was the type of person, I was that skinny fat, they talk about where I wasn't really overweight, but I was just, had no muscle tone, was tired all the time. I just, didn't feel good. But then I didn't know that I didn't feel good because I never knew what it felt like to feel good. So I just went along with him doing the workouts. He wanted to do P90X, but I convinced him to start easier with Power 90, the old Power 90. This was back in 2009. And so we just did that together. We changed our eating habits a little bit, and he lost 30 pounds doing that first round of Power 90. And I lost 20 pounds, and I didn't even know I had 20 pounds to lose. So for me, that was like a huge revelation, and I got abs for the first time in my life, and I just felt amazing. So yeah, we were hooked. We were going to keep going. And then we did P90X a couple times. We did some Insanity. And the coach that we'd been randomly assigned to happened to just be named Julie Schulte. She was, at the time, she was a diamond coach. She was in Texas. And if you recognize the name now, she's a 15-star superstar diamond. She's in the Millionaires Club and on the coach advisory board, at least she used to be. So she's like one of the absolute top leaders in this entire company. And I just thank my lucky stars every single day that she's the coach that we got assigned to. Because it's been amazing. She's an awesome mentor, and she's just really been a good friend through this whole journey. So after we had done several of the programs and we were loving the results, she invited us to become coaches on her team. So we did that. And I just saw it as a way to make some extra income here and there because I liked my job at the newspaper. But if you know anything about the journalism field, the pay is like squat. It's abysmal. So I was always looking for things that I could do to just supplement that income. So I thought, okay, I'll give this a try. And it didn't take too long before it just turned into like the most rewarding thing I had ever done, as you all know. And so that's where I started putting all my effort and all my energy. And so it grew, and eventually by 2012, it was at the point where I was making just as much with my Beachbody business part-time as I was at my full-time job. So yeah, it was like no brainer. This is what I need to do. So I've been doing it full-time ever since. So I just wanted to kind of share one thing that has really made a difference in my business. And that is I was going along, had quit my job, and for about the next year or so I was working really, really hard, and I was getting enough results to where it was making a difference, but I felt like I was just working so hard and I should be getting more out of it, or I shouldn't have to work this hard to get these results. So Julie's coach, Stephanie Richardson, had arranged for her entire downline to take part in a webinar that was put on by Practical Social Media University. And it was just talking about how to use social media to your advantage. And I'll tell you, up until this time, what I've been doing was I had been trying to be all things to all people and just do a big scattershot approach and just send everybody the same message and hope that people would respond to me. And so that's what I was doing. That was taking so much time and effort. So in this webinar, it really opened a lot of doors for me. It was like, oh, this is what I should really be thinking about doing. And of course, at the end of the webinar, you get all these pitches for sign up for this course and buy this, this thing, whatever. But it was a lot of other opportunities that you could do to really get deeper into the whole social media thing. And one of the things that was offered was a branding webinar series. And Shannon, I know that you were in this with me, if you remember, a couple of years ago. And when we get to the Q&A section, I would love to kind of hear your take on what you've done with it since then. I mean, we were in the same accountability group together doing this. So what it was is, what it did is it changed the course of my business, because coming from a newspaper background, that's what you call mass media, mass marketing. So newspaper, television, radio, magazines, billboards, anything that just puts the message out there to as many people as possible, hoping that enough of the right people see it to respond and make a difference. That's mass marketing. And so that's what I had always been taught. That's what marketing was. So if I would post something on my Facebook page, maybe 100 people would see it. I'm just rounding numbers here. Out of those 100 people that saw it, maybe only one person could relate to it, or it had something of value to that, just one person out of those 100. So they'd be the only person to like the post. Once I switched to focusing on what my brand was and getting my message out to the right people, at this point, if I post something on my like page, which is very focused, if 100 people see that post, it's 100 of the right people. It's people who actually want to see it and want to relate to it. So I might get 50 likes on it and 20 shares on it. So it makes a huge difference. I've made the same effort. I put the post out and 100 people have seen it, but the results and the engagement are just astronomically more. So I'm getting a lot more return for my investment and my effort. So that's what's made a big difference. And it's let me start attracting customers and coach prospects who want to relate to me and build up a relationship. And I'm starting to build this niche. So people are spreading the word and they're telling people about it, and they're coming to me now instead of me having to go out to them. And it just makes this whole business more rewarding than it already is, because I had to figure out what my mission was as part of developing my brand. And it's letting me carry out this mission. And that, to me, makes it all worthwhile. So that was huge. So I want to just go over the really broad strokes of what I did to figure out my brand. I don't want to go into specifics because it was a 4-week series and that would just take too long. And they're good at what they do, so you can go take their course if you want to. But essentially, you guys on this call, you're all 2-star diamonds. You've already had quite a bit of success in your business. So I don't want to make you think you need to reinvent the wheel and go back and start over. Not at all. But you can maybe use some of these hints to just refine what it is you already do, or kind of tweak it a little bit, maybe bring it into sharper focus, and also help your coaches if they're just floundering, if they don't know what to do or what to specialize in, or who to reach out to. Maybe you can give them some ideas from this, and that could help. So what they had us do is start in very broad general terms and think about, how do you define yourself? What makes you you? What makes you special and unique and different from every other Beachbody coach? So yeah, start with really broad terms. And I mean, for me, the broadest term I can define myself as is, okay, female as opposed to male. All right, so that cuts down half of the population right there that I can relate to better, right? Out of all the females in the world, I'm married. So, okay, there's a smaller subgroup, but it's still a huge one. And then I'm a mom. So, of course, there's still millions of moms out there. But then you can start getting more and more specific, like I'm a mom of older kids, teenagers, soon to be an empty nester. So now I'm getting down to a really small demographic. And there might not be quite so many of those people out there, but the ones who are, they can really relate to me. They can relate to me more, say, than a coach who's got little tiny kids. So it's all a matter of what are you and who can relate to you. So you don't have to do it just by family status. You can start thinking of yourself in terms of maybe education and career. So like, say, if you're a college graduate, okay, what was your major? Narrow that down. What do you do for a living? and make it really specific. So with me, I was a newspaper editor, but even more specifically, I was the arts and entertainment editor, and I was the movie critic for our paper. So I could reach out to movie fans or people in the film industry or anything like that. So anything that really narrows it down that you can find your focus on is great. And then you can even go just by your interest. I mean, if you don't feel like you have anything that really makes you unique, what are you interested in? What do you like? I mean, I've been a musician all my life, and so our family sport, like Brittany mentioned, is basically marching band is our sport. We're not soccer people, we're not swimming, we're not anything else. We do marching band. And it is a sport, and I will argue to the death with anybody who tells me otherwise. But so that's what we do. So I could reach out to a whole population of band moms or people who previously marched drum corps when they were younger, which is super athletic, but maybe they've let themselves go. So there are all sorts of niches there that I know that are me already that I can reach out to. And then there's the whole just what do I like? You know, I like science fiction. I like fantasy. I'm a big Star Trek fan, you know, and so there's a lot of people who need to get in shape that fit that description, right? So that's who I can relate to. So in short, I'm just a big geek is what I figured out. And once I realized that, then I'm like, there are so many other people out there who were like me, who I was a geek for 40 years before I figured out that getting in shape actually felt really, really good. And so I did, and it changed my whole self-image. You know, it changed my whole outlook of myself because now I was happier with myself. And I figured how many people out there are just dying to be happier with themselves. That's who I want to reach. So that has really helped me focus in on my business. And what you do is once you figure out who you are and who you want to relate to, then you relate it to your Beachbody experience. What's your story? How did you get there? How did Beachbody affect who you are? So let's say you're a younger mom of small kids and you got in shape with Beachbody. How can you tell somebody else about that is in your same boat? You know, it's in your same situation. What can Beachbody do for them? Well, you know, because it did it for you. So that's how you relate. So then how do you go about using this in your business? Well, you can go all out if you want to, have a complete website built with all the fancy opt-ins and landing pages, and it can take on a life of its own if you want to do that. I know there are tons of coaches who do that. Practical Social Media, they have a whole service where you can subscribe to a blog hosting service through them, and they set it all up for you, and Tracy Morrow is connected with it, and you know, it's great, and a lot of the top coaches have that. But there are just as many of the top coaches who don't have anything like that. Like my coach, Julie, she's never had a separate website. She just does all of her business over Facebook, and it's worked for her. So I'm just saying it's out there if that's something that you want to do and you feel like that would help your business. I do have my Facebook like page, which is where I put most of my energy into just because it's what I'm used to and it works for me. So if I can, I'll do a little screen share for you guys. My window went away. Okay, let me get over to it on my screen. And I'll see if you guys can see this. Okay, can you see that okay? Yeah, okay. So this is my Facebook like page. I had a lot of fun. This was the fun part for me because I enjoy marketing and coming up with graphics and copywriting and stuff like that. And I happen to have a very talented son who's a cartoonist and a multimedia guy. So he draws these little caricatures of me that I put on my site. And it all just happens to work together really well. So this is my Facebook page. And I end up posting on it about 4 times a day. I schedule my posts so that I can easily do it all at once. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my notes now. Okay, and what I do is I post fitness tips, nutrition tips, recipes, transformation stories, and almost all of those things come right out of the Team Beachbody blog. And that way it's a really consistent message, and it's always like coming from a center of Beachbody stuff, but it doesn't blatantly blast Beachbody in their face all the time. And then I post inspirational quotes and just funny pictures that I think people would enjoy and relate to. And I'll tell you, those are the things that get shared like viral. I can't believe it. I'll just post something on there that I think is totally fluffy, and it'll get thousands of likes and hundreds of shares, and it'll just boost my exposure amazingly. So I'll take it. You know, anytime that my page gets out there and people are sharing stuff, then that might lead them back to me. So that's pretty cool. And then I'll just do questions that might be unrelated to Beachbody at all, but just get people talking. I'll do calls to action now and then if I have a challenge group starting up or a sneak peek. And I put it in there with a very personal note, because this is me as a person that they're dealing with. It's not a company. It's just me as a person wanting to get to know them and offering this stuff to them. So the reason I like having that Facebook like page and doing business through there is because you can do so much with it. You can run ads, and I'll just say I've heard from top coaches who say they never spend a dime to advertise their business. I've heard other top coaches say they put 10% of their Beachbody income back into advertising. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. But I do spend a little on ads every month, and that I make them really specifically focused on the people that I want to reach. So I like being able to do that with the Facebook like page, and you can cater to your audience that way. There's Instagram. The way you could do your brand on Instagram is to have different accounts geared towards different markets. Like I know Chalene Johnson has a lot of different Instagram accounts, and one of them is just for fitness, one is for business help, one is for fashion. And she doesn't want to mix them up because she knows some of her fashion fans may not be interested in the fitness stuff and vice versa. So she just keeps them all separate. So you can do that with Instagram. I don't really use Instagram very extensively, so I always feel like I should, but I haven't gotten into it yet. And Twitter, same way. I don't utilize it, but I know that if you are looking for people to reach out to, Twitter has the most amazing search engine out of any of the social media. I mean, it is so powerful. You can find people on that you never would be able to find just searching by hashtag or likes or something. So anyway, if you want to know more about Twitter, you can message me. I don't use it extensively, like I say, but I know you can search really well with it. But the point is, no matter what you do, what platform you're using, what outlet, the point is to have everything that you put out there be consistent with your mission, and have it be offering things of value to the people you want to reach. So don't just go here and there and post something that you think is fun if it doesn't fit in with your focus and your brand, because when you're doing that, you want people to know anytime they come to your page, you want the first post on there to speak to them and say, this is who I am, this is what I do. So that's just my advice for that. So that's what it can do for you personally in your business center. But as a team, how can you take your brand and have it help your team? Well, you've already been attracting people to you just because you're you. Whatever it is about you that makes you unique, those people have already seen it and they want to do business with you. So you are already utilizing your brand on your team, even if you don't have it articulated. So just use that. Find the things that you have in common with your coaches and focus on it. Make it fun. Make it just the most rewarding place for them to be, and encourage them to find their brands and teach their teams to do it too. Because the more we can enjoy what we do in this business, the more passion we're going to have for it. And I think that's got to be behind all of it. So what has all this done for my business? I will have to say that when this came along, I had really lost the momentum that had got me to where I was. I just lost my focus. I was kind of going through the motions and, trying to keep up with things, but not really having very much passion behind it. And finding this brand, having this light bulb go on, it just infused a whole new life and new energy into my business. And it changed my why, because up until that point, my why had just been make some money, make enough income to help my family. And I think that always kind of held me back a little because it felt selfish. And it felt like I wasn't really being sincere when I was trying to help people because I had myself in mind. This now, I have a mission. My mission is to help people who were like me get the results that I did and change their lives and their outlook and their self-image. So to me, that's all worth it. That's been the big deal. It gave me a passion for doing new projects. You know, it doesn't seem like drudgery now to go work on a website or start a new a contest or something like that, and to come up with new ideas. Because to me now it's fun, and it's something that I want to share with people and have them have fun with it too. It's brought me into contact with some really interesting people who are adding value to my life, as well as me adding value to theirs. And it's just made it so I look forward to going to work every day, opening my laptop or seeing what's on Messenger on my phone. That enthusiasm that I have has helped me get over some of the fears that I had and some hangups. Because with this why that I have now and this mission that I have, it's like, this is what I'm doing this for, and I don't care what anybody else thinks. And really, that's what being a geek is all about, is you are passionate about something, doesn't matter what, and you don't care what anybody else thinks about it. So that's what I've done so far with finding my brand, just truly helping the people who are once just like me. That's made it all worthwhile. So that's what I have to share, and I hope it's been informational and helpful. So Brittany, what can we do now?
That was awesome. Thank you so much, Kathleen. You can see your passion, and that's what I love. And you have dialed in on your avatar and exactly who you want to be within your target market. And I applaud you, because I think that's absolutely incredible. I know we were going to ask Shannon just what her takeaways were. Since you guys were in the same training, you know, were there a couple things that you wanted to share, Shannon? Oh, you're muted.
Yeah. I'm ashamed to say that I didn't run with that yet, the branding yourself. I keep finding myself, for a long time, I kept doing generic images that I'm trying to make for like our whole team to kind of use the same thing. But I've really been thinking about this a lot lately, that I have lost myself in that. And I've just been really trying to zero in on what my brand is, but I think I do naturally post. I mean, people know I'm into muscle. I just did a figure and physique competition for my 50th birthday last year. Most people know that I eat paleo, you know, so there are certain things, and like you, a mom of teens, and, you know, and for me, you know, just turning 51, now we're starting to think about, you know, retirement and college and the different things. And so I've been struggling to figure out whether I want to go. I also, I was a graphic designer, but on the side, I did teach some fitness classes. So I've been really thinking a lot lately about targeting more of the fitness instructor and the people that want to be super fit, or maybe the ones that are just already, you know, total gym rats or really into fitness classes, people that really, you know, other fitness instructors. I've been friending a lot of figure competitors lately and kind of thinking maybe that route, but I've just been indecisive on how extreme do I want to go, you know? I don't know. So I haven't done as much with it as you, but I've had it in my mind, and I've still been posting that. And I have images, you know, up on my timeline and stuff. People know that that's what I'm into, but.
Right. And yeah, you're naturally doing it just because, like I say, you are who you are already. And so you are just naturally doing it, even if you haven't really articulated it, you know. You don't have to come up with a cutesy name for your page like I did. It's just who you are. And yeah, that works. So.
Yeah. Well, I have Succeed with Shannon, which I think encompasses so much. And another thing that I love to do is post tips on just, like, if I find a cool app for your grocery store list, or you know, your to-do list, or different things for organizing, or keratin treatments for your hair, or whatever it is. I like to post helpful little shortcuts for around the house too. So it's just kind of, I did Succeed with Shannon.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
But you inspired me.
Cool.
I have a question, if that's okay.
Yeah.
I branded myself before I was a coach. I'm a runner, and I'm, you know, I don't know if you are familiar with very many runners. We're kind of crazy, and all we talk about is running. And so I was posting a lot of stuff way before I was a coach on my personal page. So people were getting annoyed. So I branded myself, created a like page, And my like page is actually called Running Through Chaos because I've got 3 kids. That's how I cope with life, running through chaos. So I have this brand where I really built a following of a bunch of runners, and now I'm kind of trying to figure out how to meld the two together, my 2 worlds, because I have my Beachbody world, and then I feel like I have all these people who started following me because I was posting strictly stuff about running. It's like, how do you meld the 2 brands together? Because I feel like I'm both, but I don't know how to brand them together, if that makes any sense.
One thing that I found that really helped me out, and it made me feel more comfortable talking about Beachbody with people and not so much of a sales pitch or pressure or anything like that. I kind of have a halfway place where it's just a general fitness support group, and anybody who likes my Geek Physique page, I'll invite them to join that group. And it's just general fitness, motivation, and we all post things and we all keep each other motivated. It's not a challenge group. There's no timeline. There's no programs. I'll post about Beachbody stuff in there because I use it myself and I can recommend it, but it's not a hard sell at all. But I feel like that's my captive audience. Those people, they want to be in the group with me. It's a closed group. It's not secret, but it's closed. So I have to approve everybody that wants to join so I don't get spammers in there. But I really find that people will start conversations of their own, and it gets vibrant and it gets engaging. And I love that about it. It's like a little challenge group, but it's not formalized. So I feel like people can go in there and they can get information about the Beachbody stuff that I do without feeling like I'm trying to sell to them, because it's just me posting like I would post about anything else. But they get other fitness motivation tips too. So that might be kind of a halfway point that you could invite people to.
Okay, so do you have any requirements for that group, or they just can add themselves? They don't have to be a customer. It's just like a free general.
Yeah, just anybody. They have to request to join so that I can approve them. Because sometimes I'll get people from the outside that I haven't invited. They just run across the group. They find it. They can see the description of it, but they can't see any of the posts yet if they haven't joined. So I check them out. I go to their page, I scope them out, make sure they're not a creeper, and then I can just approve them. But most of them come from me inviting them through messaging. And what happens is they like my page, I will send them a friend request and start a conversation with them. And it's just totally about geeky stuff. It's not about Beachbody at all. I'll mention, I do health and fitness coaching. If I can help you out, let me know. But, what's your favorite sci-fi series? And we just start talking about other stuff. And I form them. I use the Danny Johnson form method. So when it gets to the point where I've run out of stuff to talk about, I'll say, well, hey, just so you know, I have this general fitness support group, and here's the link to it, and you're welcome to join if you're interested. And that kind of segues them into talking more about health and fitness with me, and we go from there.
Cool, thanks.
Yeah.
I think I was reading Crystal, it says Crystal's backup, but I think her idea on just putting things that help runners, like PIO, like it lengthens their stride, like doing the targeting workouts and things that will really help them with running. Because you're right, runners are like runners.
They are, and that's how I used to be. And like, they're not runners, God love them, but they are not always very open to anything else because they run. Like, they want to run 7 days a week if they can, and like they don't want to hear about anything else all the time. So meshing them together can be.
But if they want, here's the thing, because I'm a former personal trainer, and I worked with a lot of runners, and like I said, I had T25 has been amazing for conditioning. Like, I had people who were stuck with their weight, who were stuck with their goals, they weren't improving on their race times or anything like that, and T25 like seriously took them to another level as far as their conditioning and stuff. They didn't do it every single day of the week. They didn't follow the program exactly, but they got it in on their off days for their cross training type things. And same thing with PIO as far as lengthening and stuff like that for that balance, because either if they're only running 7 days a week, they're going to injure themselves. They're going to have knee issues, joint issues, all those kinds of things. And if they're competitive, and they want to like ace their 10K or whatever else, or their marathon, like that's how they're going to get better. Talk about improvement, or how can like the hydrate for their run when they go out. And like there's tons of stuff that you can do. And I have a lot of people who initially come in and they say, oh my gosh, well, what if I don't, like I have a lot of Kayla it signs or it scenes, whatever it is, all over Instagram girls. And initially they thought, but I loved the Kayla whatever program, blah, blah, blah. Well, that's okay. But do you have anything that is working on your nutrition? No. So you do the fixed nutrition and you drink Shakeology. And that's done wonders for a lot of those girls. They don't have to stop their programming or whatever else. And same thing like when you said, with the fitness competitions. There's a lot of fitness competitors who are like, I have my coach. My coach said I have to do X, Y, and Z. I can't, whatever. So performance supplements are going to be huge for you. And this will fit into your whatever else and stuff like that. You don't have to start, you don't only, especially for coaching, you don't only have to do Beachbody programs. That's fine. You stay true to who you are and brand yourself and who you are. But there's tons of things that you can offer to those people.
Good info. Thanks.
That was awesome. Woo! Okay, what other questions do you have? Anything else about finding your brand? Do you guys feel like you have found your brand?
Yeah, I would love to hear what everybody else kind of focuses on too.
Yeah. Because that's such a big, when you focus on your brand and you find exactly who you're talking to, so you put a post out there and you're not wanting it to hit the masses. Think quality over quantity. And when I say that, even if that hits that one person, that's when you know it's successful. Because that's going to be bringing in people just like you that have the same passion, that have the same drive, that see the bigger picture in this. So have you guys zoomed in and kind of focused on your brand? Because I know at a 2-star diamond, you can also be like, well, I'm still trying to find it. And I totally get that.
I feel like I tell my coaches and everything to focus on 3 things. Find 3 things about yourself, and then people know what they're going to get when they follow you. They know they're going to get, for me, I'm a mother of twins. I post about my kids, and I love food. I'm a huge foodie, and I love fitness and health. So they're going to get those 3 things almost with every time I post one of those 3 things. Mm-hmm. So I try and tell people to focus on 3 so it's not so confusing. And then sometimes people are posting all this stuff and you're like, who are they? Mm-hmm. You need to, get down to the business. And when I actually started focusing on just moms or moms with twins, my business grew more so just because we had that natural, relatable thing. So that's my input.
Totally. Thanks, Chelsea. I would also challenge each of you, because sometimes, especially at this rank, we have a hard time sharing the business opportunity. And I say that because you feel like you're not the expert. You're not the guru. But you know what? You are. And because at this level, you're an actual leader. You're leading and guiding others to success. So with finding your brand, you need to make sure that you're marketing yourself as a Beachbody coach. Beachbody has changed your life. How? And I say that because I have so many coaches that do it incognito. And then all of a sudden you go from here all the way up here. And everybody's like, wait, where did all this go? If you're waiting to post about, when you are finally able to pay off your house and your car and all of these things, of course, with the disclaimer at the bottom, please, within it. But if you're waiting for that moment, you have missed the opportunity to really lead and guide others to success during that process. Okay? So with finding your brand, you have to talk about what you're doing, and you have to share your successes, and you have to, of course, be vulnerable and share your weaknesses too. But honestly, that all goes hand in hand. So if you're trying to find a way to recruit more because you've perfected your brand and all of that, you have to be talking about the coaching opportunity as well. So it's kind of like the first time you put out your befores and then your afters, and you're like, and it's so scary, right? And you're like, wait, how many likes did I get? It's that. But once you do it with the coaching opportunity, I promise you, it's okay. You can do it. Each time gets a little bit easier. And when you've perfected your brand, you'll bring in people that are exactly like you, and that's the biggest compliment to you and your business. Okay, I'm getting long-winded. Go. Somebody go. Anything else? Any questions for Kathleen? She, Success Club 5 legend for 47 months. That's huge. Consistency is what that truly tells me, which is incredible. But any other questions that you have for her? Or is she just a rock star and you took all the little nuggets? Yeah. I think that's what it is. Okay, cool. I'll just take 5 minutes and we'll talk about leadership real quick. Does that help? Okay, cool. So Kathleen, thanks again. That was awesome. You are a rock star at finding your brand. So thank you for sharing that with us. So a little bit about leadership. New Leader Conference obviously is coming up in January, but these smaller events are the events that you really want to be at. And I stress that because Summit is amazing, right? And I feel like we come back from Summit, we have the total Summit hangover, and you're gone for like a week, right? And for that first week, I cover my eyes with a hat to cover up my bags. I really did that for a week. But at these New Leader Conference or at leadership, this is an opportunity where it is the best of the best. And it is, it is such an intimate opportunity to hear these coaches. And I know so many times that we hear their stories and we hear about their best practices, but at leadership, it was all driven around their things that they had. I don't want to say they're failures, but on the brink of them being failures or on the brink of them quitting, and just the real raw stuff that we don't see every single day. And I say that because I think we think like these 15-star diamonds are these elusive clouds in the skies that we can never touch, right? They're like, holy cow, they're like, ah. But honestly, Brigitte Linford shared it. She's like, I was at 14-star diamond and I almost gave up. What? She's a 15-star diamond, And I say that because I think each of us really looks at this opportunity, and sometimes days get tough and we're not attracting like-minded coaches, and we're just like down in the pits. But I promise you, that's probably when you're on the brink of success. And so what I really got from leadership is every coach said it. You are on the brink of something amazing. You just have to stick with it. You have to believe in yourself. And the hardest part is actually getting over yourself to get there, right? The only person that you can change is you. But along with that, the only person that can hold you back is also you. So, on a larger scale, that's what it was really about. It was the raw. It was the, what we needed to hear to kind of finish the year strong. What was so awesome is our Doug Moss, my boss, actually hosted the now I can't even think of what it's the team building activity that included wipeout. Did you guys see the wipeout thing where you had to jump and then duck and then jump and then duck? Did you guys see that? Like literally wipeout, like literally kicks your booty. Anyways, so we had about 10 different obstacles, and these teams came together, and they only knew one other person on the team, and so it was really a team building experience. And you got eggs on your head, you had to run through the ocean, there was a memory game, there's everything. And that was probably the number one thing that was spoken about at there. And the reason why I say that is because it got you out of your normal comfort zones. It made you come together as a team with people that you don't even know, and you had to be a little competitive. And I know all of you are a little ounce of competitive, or you wouldn't be in this business, right? But it was an opportunity to really collaborate together and come together for one sole purpose. And if you think about it, that's you and your team. And so what I would say, so it was amazing the information we were getting with the leaders, and it was amazing to actually get out there and do something fun and wild and crazy and feel like a kid again. And I had so many coaches that came up after and said, you know what, I'm going to do that at my diamond retreat. I'm going to do that at my leader retreat. Because they really felt the community of everybody working together. So it's just on a smaller scale where we can literally collaborate together and come together with one sole purpose and really leave there knowing that we are in the right place at the right time, that we're going to finish this year strong, and that we can absolutely just love on you. That's the greatest thing about that event, and also New Leader Conference. So what other questions do you have besides that? Because that was a lot. Anything? Tom, did I answer your question? You're all silent. Looking at me. Go. Okay.
Sorry, Britt. I was just curious to know who the keynote speakers were and what their topics were, and I had the opportunity to go to that leadership because Brandy Botts invited me, so I went for 2 years, and it was awesome. The team building groups it was really fun, and there are takeaways from it, and that was awesome. But
yeah,
speakers as well would be really cool to know about.
Absolutely. And I know they're going to post a lot of that, so be ready for it, let's just say that. But of course, 15-star diamond coaches, the keynote speakers were really cool, and I wish I had my notes here with me. Let me see if I have anything. Okay, so the lady who's actually the GM of the Washington Bullets, the basketball team, the Washington Bullets? That's what I wrote down. Anyways, she is like 5'0" and she is a GM of a basketball team. And she came in, she's flipping hilarious. And all of us were on the edge of our seat, like, what? And she just gave us, 7 rules that had made her successful. And so she was really, really cool. There was another gentleman. Of course, we get pulled in 8 million directions when we're in these, so I'm not in every single session. But I did definitely see all the top, 15-star diamond coaches. What was really cool, actually, and you'll like this, Tom, is that they actually pulled the husbands on stage of those top diamond or those top 15-star diamond coaches, and they asked them in the guy's view, like, what does this mean to you? Like, what, seeing your wife be so successful, like, how have you been involved in this business? And so you got the male's perspective as well, which was really, really cool. But as soon as I see them come out, I will definitely let you know, but they should be up in the next couple of weeks.
Thanks.
Hey, you're welcome. Any other questions? You all going to be there next year? Well, that doesn't seem very, I'd be like, heck yeah. You know what you need to do? And this is what we talked about in my 3-star diamond group, just barely. You need to write out on your mirror and say, you know what, I am, and finish that sentence. And most of my coaches in that group were, I am a 5-star diamond elite coach. I am. Write out those power statements that are going to make you successful. When you look at what you're going for every single day, you will hit it. So that's one thing I just want to kind of leave you with, you guys, is what you do right now is going to set you up for success. So I'd first and foremost ask, where are you going to go to Super Saturday, right? Okay, you're all like, yep, going. Awesome, because that is honestly, that will give you a push and that will give you momentum to end the year strong. But what you do in these next 3 months will actually showcase what you are going to do the first 3 months of the next year. Okay, January is right around the corner. Reminder, you are the expert. You are the guru. So you have to believe in yourself and know that what you're doing right now, you might not see the fruit of labor, but I promise you it is going to come. You just have to go. You have to be consistent. You have to be like Kathleen. You have to hit SC5 Legend for 47 months. You never took your foot off the pedal for that, and I admire that. And so you have to really dig deep and know what you're working towards. Okay, and then that means Super Saturday because it's going to be crazy, epic fun. Are you guys going anywhere where corporate's going to be?
I don't think so.
No. I'm going to Huntington Beach and Bakersfield, so I'm going to 2. I don't know if you're all in, I don't think any of you are actually in those areas at all.
Portland, Oregon. I don't know.
Right, Portland. Yay.
That's where I was last time.
I know. That was a cool one.
That was epic.
Are you going to that one? Cool.
Yeah, that one was pretty epic.
Well,
Carl
look at it.
showed up. Don't mind that, right?
You came to mine in Seattle last time.
Yeah. So cool. Well, guys, do you have any last questions? Anything else that you want to go over before I let y'all go for the day? Okay. You guys are amazing. Just know that. Write out your goals. You have a couple months left to really push strong. If you have anything that you need to collaborate with me about, feel free to reach out. I'm 100% here for you, and I can absolutely go over numbers. Anything that you're like, Brittany, I need more help in this area, I'm here for you. So do not hesitate by any means. But thanks again, Kathleen. You did amazing, and you all have a wonderful day, okay? Bye, guys.